Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now today, we are going to see the National Assembly electing the committee leadership in the National Assembly, the chairs of various budgets, the member committee, and all that. But ahead of that election, the National Assembly has decided to expose some issues that normally happen there that the majority of Kenyans sometimes are not aware about. Two people spoke, including even the National Assembly Speaker, Moses Masika Wetangula, Junet Mohammed, and Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah. And all they are saying is that people who are given the mandate in powerful committee of budget and appropriation to serve in that capacity use the opportunity to serve the interest of their own constituencies at the expense of other constituencies in this country. And that is now a target on one Ndindi Nyore, the chairperson who has now been removed from that position. And going forward, looking at the way they argue about this issue, it's like Ndindi Nyore will not serve anywhere near such a committee. And so the views that I want us to listen into, first of all, the claim by Junet Mohammed, that you can find that there is one constituency in Mandera that is missing the funding that they require, but you find out that a constituency like the one for Ndindi Nyore is receiving double budget, that they can do more projects compared to the other region or constituency. Reason, he used the privilege and opportunity with the power in his office to skewed allocation of resources in his own constituency. So utapata kwenywa kuendelea kwake kunaendelea. Reason, yeye ni mwenyekiti wa rasilimali na ugawaji wa ushuru.
The Budget and Appropriation Committee of this House has reached to the level where the chair of that committee, Mr. Speaker, now, members of parliament are going to his constituency for benchmarking, Mr. Speaker. Benchmarking. And all of us are supposed to receive the same amount of NGD CDF, Mr. Speaker. What is making our members to go and benchmark in a colleague's constituency, Mr. Speaker? Because the colleague is receiving more funding because of him being the chairman of the budget committee. Let's be honest to Kenyans. Let's tell Kenyans the truth, that he was sitting in an advantageous position of chairing that powerful committee of the House, which you could do skewed allocation of resources to his constituents, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, which member of parliament here can afford through his NGCDF to build classrooms, plaster them, put windows, put roof, put tiles in the classroom, cabros in the... Mr. Speaker, which member of parliament can afford to do that here? With a mere resources of 100 million shillings, Mr. Speaker, and advertise on Citizen Primetime News. Which member can do it? Can you raise up your hand if you can do that? None of the 349 members of this House, Mr. Speaker, can afford to do that. That can only be done by somebody who has access to bigger resources than any other member, Mr. Speaker.
Now, the reason why these people are talking about Ndindi Nyore, it is because Ndindi Nyore does not support the idea of William Ruto removing Rigathi Gachagua from office. He was reluctant and willing to join that team. In fact, even abstained from that motion of impeachment when it came to voting. That is the reason why they're talking about Ndindi Nyore. If Ndindi Nyore today was singing William Ruto's song, let us be very truthful. he will not be attacked the same way or the manner in which he has been attacked today. So lazima tuangalie hao wanasiasa kwa macho vizuri sana. Tujue wakituchezea siasa. The fact is that what Kimani Ichung'wah and Junet Mohammed are talking about is true. People are using their position to skew resources toward their constituency without minding that kwengine watakosa maji, kwengine watakosa madarasa, kila nafikiria ni kule kwake anatoka nyumbani. So I want to agree. Ndindi Nyore messed by focusing more on funding his constituency. Anapewa budget kubwa. Kimani Ichung'wah has also come out to rebuke Ndindi Nyore. It is because they want him out, not because he did a mistake. There is a mistake, but that's not the biggest reason. The biggest reason is that he is not singing a William Ruto's gospel. So Ichung'wah is here to lecture and expose Ndindi Nyore. But before you listen to Kimani Ichung'wah, I also have a concern. At some point, the Sabaoti Member of Parliament, Caleb Amis, raised his concern about how Kikuyu constituency is being funded versus the Western region. And his questioning was that when you look at the budget they gave to Kikuyu constituency, where Kimani Ichung'wah is the leader, is the same budget of road that has been given to all of the Western region counties. Any county of the Western region, they got the same budget that has been given to one constituency in Kiambu County, where Kimani Ichung'wah is coming from. So before you rebuke Ndindi Nyore, he must know that Kenyans are also aware that he is also a beneficiary of the same. As other counties suffer, Ruto has allowed these people to take resources meant for other constituencies to their own constituency simply because they are singing his song and defending one William Samoei Ruto. That is how we suffer. So without wasting time, I wanted to listen to Kimani Ichung'wah, but please, as you listen, remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Let's focus on the business of the House. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hope I will be speaking to those who are interested in the business of the House. And you know, Honorable Speaker, it's true what you said, because the business of this House is the business of the people who have given us the greatest honor above very many other people to come and represent them in the National Assembly. And the issues you hear the Honorable Omboko raise are indeed pertinent issues in line with Article 201 of our Constitution on the cardinal place public participation should play in all our legislative processes and even decisions in the executive. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with the Honorable Omboko. It is true the public participation process in the budget making process has been abused, grossly abused. And as Honorable Omboko says, that is why you find in a situation where 2 billion shillings was set aside for public participation, those who sat in the budget committee found it prudent or imprudent, whatever the case may be, to put an additional 10 billion shillings. But what is more worrying, Honorable Speaker, is that if the entire 12 billion shillings went to the counties that were slated in for the public participation exercise, then there will be no problem. The problem has come because it is people who have vested interest in those committees where they sit in that then use that opportunity to put projects in their own constituencies and counties far from what was intended by the public participation, Honorable Speaker. And I say this with immense respect to those who sit in the Budget and Appropriations Committee, because it is a committee that I have chaired before in this House. And the tradition that we had set right from the 11th Parliament, when the new constitution came into being, is that money would be set aside for public participation, and over a period of 4 years, we would cover all counties in the country. And And it is sad that some counties like Vihiga and the other 10 counties that were slated for benefit of these monies now lose out because of what is otherwise bad manners by ourselves, those who sat in the Budget and Appropriations Committee. And I say this, Speaker, because we have now reconstituted a new Budget and Appropriations Committee. Let me be on record, it will not be business as usual. This House will not sit back and allow members who sit in the Budget and Appropriations Committee to use the position they hold in that committee to appropriate money to only their constituencies at the expense of other Kenyans. Because all these 349 members come here to represent people. They come here to seek and lobby for resources to go back to their people. That is why the people of Vihiga are crying today. It is sad that you would find in a county that was to benefit from public participation, a national polytechnic in a county that was slated to benefit for public participation, getting a meager 10 million shillings, whereas in another county where a member in the Budget and Appropriations Committee sits in, a national polytechnic gets 250 million shillings. It is immoral, it is unethical, and very unprofessional of us who sit in those committees. And I say it will not be business as usual because we have agreed as the House leadership, both in the majority and the minority party, that those who get the opportunity to sit in whichever committee you sit in that committee to ensure that there is equitable allocation and share of resources across the country. And we will make sure that that happens. I therefore wanted to urge the Honorable Omboko and the other members who are affected. I will engage with the National Treasury to ensure that those counties do not lose on account of the actions of the former Committee of Budget and Appropriations, so that within the next financial year, because they are now preparing the estimates for the next financial year, we factor in those counties that should have benefited this year and those that ought to benefit next year. But let this serve as a warning bell to the new committee. I know the committees are slated to hold their elections tomorrow. Whoever you elect in those committees, especially the Budget and Appropriations Committee, because it is one of the 18 committees whose mandate lapsed, and there are new members in that committee, an opportunity to serve in the Budget and Appropriations Committee of this House is not an opportunity to enrich yourself. It is not an opportunity to allocate resources to your constituency or your county or to those who you think are your friends above others. You must ensure, as members of that committee, there is equitable and fair distribution of resources, not just those in public participation. The reason why the Budget and Appropriations Committee has been elevated in our standing